Hello, babies of the world. This is Simon Rex, and you're listening to Nervous Rex. I'm coming to you from Koh Tao, which is a tiny little island. I've never been here before. It's a little island in Thailand. I'm on this 6-week extravaganza Giuliani fucking regalia trip, having the time of my life. So this week there won't be an intro with me and Dillard because I got Berner, rapper, weed entrepreneur, gangster, homeboy from the Bay, on this episode. And we did this one a few months ago with no video. So there's no video for this one on YouTube. It's just going to be just the audio portion. And me and Berner got to talk. And I don't remember much, especially what me and Berner talked about fucking 3-4 months ago. But we got to talking, and I'm sure it was crispy Giuliani. Berner's a legend. If you don't know who he is, he started the weed line called Cookies, which is a really big clothing brand, and he's just probably the coolest dude, like very successful. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's just one of those dudes. He got the Midas touch, and he's just a blessed dude, and he's super generous. And he started Battle App. I don't know if you guys ever seen me on that app where I battle rap people, and like it's kind of like a video where you just diss someone and they diss you back. He started that app, and that's how we became friends on Battle App. He saw me posting on there, and we became homies, and we got a lot of mutual friends. And I think we talked about how I tried to grow weed once in my life, and it was his strain, and it just didn't work out for me. But sometimes in order to find out who you are, you got to find out who you're not. And I'm not a weed grower or a weed dealer. I found that one out a long time ago. But I am a podcaster, and I think we're about a year in now, guys. This is about a year into the pod. This is like, I think they said something like 80% of podcasts stop after 10 episodes or some alarming number like that. So we made it through that part a long time ago. We're at the 1-year threshold, and I don't know where it's going, but it's going, baby. I'm scuba diving. That's my new favorite thing. I'm out here scuba fucking swimming. It's outer space. I imagine most of you don't scuba dive. I never did till recently. I went and got my scuba certification in Santa Monica because I was like, I gotta do this. I gotta get in the ocean and be in the aquarium and be weightless, buoyant, floating upside down, looking at turtles going over. And that's exactly what it is. It's the dopest shit ever, and I'm hooked. So I'm on this little island in Thailand, in the Gulf, which is just it's like a worldwide scuba destination. And I'm on this little island, just beautiful little cafes on the water, white sand, pink sunsets, crystal blue water, and the scuba diving is $25 a dive. So when you dive, it's about an hour, right? You have about an hour in your tank, depending on how much oxygen you breathe. I'm still learning all this shit. So I'm learning to relax in there and slow it down, and it's the most like exhilarating / meditative thing you could do. Like your adrenaline's going because you're in the food chain, but yet you're also zenned out and relaxed. It's fucking dope. It's the best. I gotta stop saying dope. I'm also working on not saying sick anymore. Like sick. Like, come on, dude. I'm 45 years old. Do I really need to say dope and sick? Oh, dope sick. There's an interesting connection there. Yeah, man, scuba diving's my new thing. I'm that guy now. So I got about another week out here in Southeast Asia. I'm going to go to another island called Koh Samui, which I've been to before, which is a cool, little more action over there. Go see some Muay Thai fights and just, scoot around. I just scoot around on my scooter and just eat weird food and just get spicy, baby. I encourage you all to travel more. It's probably the best thing you could do. At the end of the day, why I don't understand why Americans work their whole lives and then retire at 60 and then start going out on these vacations. It's like, you got to do it now. You got to live life like the meteor's coming, bro. Or ladies. Can I say that on here? I can't say any gender shit anymore. So you got to live life like a meteor is fucking hurling at the earth and is going to hit any day now. So you got to live life, carpe diem, and just go for it, man, and do weird shit. Go outside your comfort zone, baby. I'm definitely just going for it out here and just putting myself in real weird situations and places I've never been. It's been the best trip ever. 6 weeks all I've been out here just trying new weird shit. And yeah, too much to talk about. So let's just jump into this episode with Berner. Check him out on Instagram at Berner415. My Instagram, SimonRex415. We both had that connection. We're both from San Francisco. 415 is the area code. You get it. Enjoy the episode, baby. Zagyaundi. sitting here with Berner, the man, the legend. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I was just thinking about this on the way over here, bro. You're one of the only dudes at the top of the game who's not an asshole.
You know, you can't be an asshole when you smoke weed like this, bro. Like,
you think? I know assholes that smoke weed.
Oh, they're not smoking the right weed, or they got baby dick.
So Berner, for you guys out there, he owner of Cookies, rap star. What else is under your belt? What will people know you from?
Dude, you know, we got Battle App, we got Santa Cruz Shredder, we got G-Pen, we got Weed Maps, we got Restash Jar, we got a new app called Social Club, which is like for everyone on Instagram that's posting weed and getting deleted, like myself and, you know, the other players in the game. So, you know, just a bunch of cool shit, man. Like Hemp 2.0, fucking.
Oh, yeah, the drink. That's big.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. I see that shit everywhere.
Yeah, man. I just try to have my hands in everything. So that way, like, you know, at the end of the day, if one doesn't work, then the other should. Hopefully.
That's the smart way to do it. Like I think they say, like, most billionaires don't just do one thing. You gotta have a bunch of your hand in different pots. So Cookies is obviously what a lot of people out there know for the clothing. And is Cookies is just clothing, or is that, I'm confused. Is it weed product?
No, it's both. So, you know, it started out as a strain, you know, bred and created in the San Francisco area, Sunset District, right near the beach.
Girl Scout Cookies, is that
Girl Scout Cookies, right? Yeah. And we started the strain out like that, and then it just got so much notoriety and so popping, we developed a menu with it, started breeding a bunch of new things with it, and comes to Sunset Sherbet, the gelato, you know, the cherry pie was before it. And I just decided to build like a brand around it, like, you know, to develop not only a clothing brand, but an identity, a colorway, a logo, and just really attach myself to what we created. Not a lot of weed brands did that before. Like, you got OG Kush. Like, no one knows who's behind OG Kush.
Right.
There's Miss. It's like William Wallace shit. I just wanted to let it be known, like, yo, this is Cookies. It's right here. This is me.
Right.
Yeah.
And now, did you start because you got a lot of weed strains that become popular, obviously, with music and culture. Now, did the weed strains, did you are you a green thumb, or do you have people doing their weed for you and you're just the businessman behind it, or are you actually
I'm kind of like the creative business, you know, just like everything else besides the cultivation. I used to be the guy back in the days, pre-rec, that put up the money for a house and, you know, get the genetics up in there and pay for the operation to run, and then, you know, take the product and make sure it does what it does. So I'm the business behind it, pretty much.
Got it.
Yep.
Now, Battle App, as you know, I was a huge still am a huge supporter of Battle App. A lot of people thought that I was like one of the owners because I was plugging it so hard, because everyone's like, is this your company? Because you pushing it hard. I'm like, no, I just like it.
It's addicting.
Very addicting. And by the way, I'm on day 12, no social media. Speaking of addicting, that's how you know it's bad, when you count the days.
Yeah,
right? You know,
it's
day
like
12,
it's like kicking dope.
Bro, it's for real. It's a drug.
For real. Yeah.
So I'm just doing my little annual detox on the social media, and it's fucking crazy how much we're addicted to that shit. But yeah, the Battle App for me was the perfect, for me being a comedic freestyle guy. Like, I feel like I thrived on that app. That people still come up to me like on the street. They're like, you're the Battle App dude. Like, that's all they know me from.
That shit pop, bro. And like, I love you for embracing it the way you did, because it got me fired up on it. When I seen you on there, I was a huge fan. I'm like, oh shit, he's in here. He's fucking with it. And you were just bodying people. But that's the thing, is like, it's a way to talk shit without harming anyone. Like, it's just, you go there to talk shit, and everyone loves to talk shit. So Battle App was like the best way, and you can actually see people. So you get on there and you see a dude with like a cutty ass fucking outfit or a weird ass look on his face, you could just roast him right there. So it was pretty classic.
You taught me the way to do it, because if you go to the open page or whatever it's called, that's where the gold is.
That's where the gold is.
Yeah, and then you just find someone and they lob it up for you, and they wear a fun, just like you said, they'll have a hat on that I'll clown or whatever. I actually got in a couple things, but most people obviously laugh at it. But this one dude I ripped, I remember he wrote this long ass diatribe about it. He's like, man, I'm a fucking gangster. I put in work. You can't be dissing me. I was like, oh, I could see how this, if I saw a dude in the street, he might, you got to be careful, because like some people don't got the sense of humor. Like, I could take it, but some motherfuckers, like, they don't, because there's some gangsters on there.
There's some gangsters on there. For the most part, people were cool. I had a couple of people get mad at me, because I'm like yourself. I go in there myself and just battle hella randos, and they would just be like, oh, this dude was talking hella shit. And, you know, when you make fun of someone, sometimes people can't take it. Me and my friends make fun of each other every day, so I'm used to it, you know?
I think that's a real friend. That's like the British sense of humor. Like, if you ain't making fun of your friends, that's you don't love them, because you need to be called out in a good way like that. Because if you just got people around you kissing your ass and telling you what you want to hear, you need to get clowned a little bit. It's good for you. It's good for the ego.
I mean, it's just, shit, you got to laugh, bro.
That's my motto, dog.
You got to laugh. You got to smile. There's too much negativity in the world. We don't know how long we're going to be here. There's other agendas that people have, and we're just a part of their plan. So, motherfucker, got to enjoy this shit. You got to smoke weed and enjoy your life and smile as much as you can.
That's a good attitude. I actually don't know if you know this, but before we met, I had a dude get me a mom of the Girl Scout. You remember the story? I got a mom of the Girl Scout cookie.
Okay.
Back when it was 5 G's an elbow. This is probably 7 years ago when it was like the shit, and no one had it in LA. And I somehow got my hands on a mom from a homie that kind of knew you, and he's like, look, bro, if Berner finds out you got this, like, it's gonna come back on me. So I don't know if you remember this, but he had to hit you up, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you're like, he told me something along the lines of, look, as long as you're not taking money out of like their, Berner's pockets by selling his shit. I just had 3 lights going in my crib. I was going, maybe
Fire.
like yielding 2 pounds every cycle, and I learned how to grow weed at the crib, and I had a dude come by and do it with me, and then the reality hit, and I was going to cannabis clubs selling the Girl Scout for 5 G's a elbow.
You're a savage.
I was going in, and people recognized me, and they're like, wait, you're the dude from Scary Movie. You're Dirt Nasty. Why are you selling weed? And I'm like, I'm a hustler. I'm just trying to make my rent. Da, da, da. And the word got out that Simon Rex from Scary Movie had the Girl Scout mom. The word got out, and my boy, rest in peace, Murph Dog, who's like a Venice gangster, deals with these South Central cats on some street shit. And he's like, bro, you're not going to believe this shit. I was like, what? He goes, I heard your name pop up in the wrong neighborhood. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, they heard that this actor dude got the Girl Scout cookie, and they're coming to fucking get it. You're going to get tied up and pistol whipped and take your shit. So what I had to do was I had to clear out the room and take a picture of the empty room and send it to my boy to show them, because the G code was, we're not going to let this dude who's on TV take money out of our pockets on the streets of LA. That's our game. We're selling weed. So I got the reality hit real quick, and I'm like, you know what? This ain't for me. But I tried it, but it just wasn't me.
Dude, the fact that you grow weed makes us even closer, homies. That's fire, dude.
Man,
I didn't even know that.
Fire. It was the fucking Girl Scout cookie, and that shit was so that was the best. That might have been the best weed ever. Like, is that still a popular strain? Is that
Girl Scout's still fire. A lot of people stopped growing it. They started crossing with it. So, Gelato got cookies in it. Sunset Sherbet got cookies in it. Wedding Cake got cookies in it. I mean, the funny thing is, like, a lot of these other brands like to talk shit about your boy, Big Bern, and I always keep it positive, but I always told myself, I'm going to say that for the first time ever here, because I always tell my friends and I tell myself, I'd almost dare some of these companies to grow a menu without Girl Scout cookie lineage and see what happens. Like, take everything without Girl Scout cookie lineage off your menu and see how far you get, because, it became like a unique flavor profile that's needed in the game. Like, shit, so many new strains have cookies in it. It's insane. Like, I say about 70% of the menu on the market has a cookie in it. It's nuts.
So they're hybrids. That's how it works. The crossbreed or whatever. And then obviously it becomes like, I remember that song Past the Cavassier came out. Then Cavassier doubled in price at the club. So when you get a song, a strain in a rap lyric, like when you get like one of your homies, a big rapper, talking about gelato, like what's his name? Young Dolph? Yeah,
Dolph and Migos. Shout out to the Migos, man. The Migos did a lot of magic for us too. And that's all natural. Like, there was no business behind it. It wasn't like we told them to rap about it. Like, yo, they fuck with me, they fuck with the bag, they fuck with the movement, so they just naturally embraced it.
That's beautiful. So you from San Francisco, born and raised?
Born and raised in the city, yep. I moved to Arizona for a little bit, which was a big culture shock back
that place is a trip.
Fucking when I was like in 6th grade. Yeah, it was really trippy. There's a lot of sex and drugs going on out there at a young age.
Yeah, Arizona's a weird place, bro. Like, it's one of those creepy places where, like, you make a right turn down some long-ass street and it's so quiet and empty out there. Like, I'm more scared in a place like that than, like, busy-ass San Francisco, New York. Because if you yell, ain't no one going to hear you out there. You're on some weird it's like desert vibe.
Everyone's got a gun, super desert vibe. And then, when I moved out there, weed was not cool at all. Like, if you had weed, it was just all bad. And,
like, penalty-wise?
Yeah, it was like a kind of like a zero-tolerance vibe out there with the weed. But there was more drugs going on there than there was in the Bay as a young kid, for sure.
So the Bay has always been on the forefront of, like, the first, I think, weed shop was Oakland. Is that right? The first, like, major cannabis club was out of Oakland?
I think the first cannabis club was in Frisco on Market and Church, I think.
But Bay Area.
Yeah, Bay Area.
Bay Area is always on the forefront. Like, it's always one step ahead of the country on open-minded shit. Like, now plant medicine just got legalized, like psychedelics in Oakland.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
We got to go trip out in Oakland one time,
Oh, man, I don't know if that's the environment. There's a rule for psychedelics, like set and setting. I want to be in nature.
Yeah.
And a couple homies with the phone off. In Oakland, I don't know. I don't
You
picture.
might-
You might have to go to the hills.
Yeah.
You might have to go to the hills. So I grew up in Alameda and San Francisco. So I grew up in the Bay. I'm from San Francisco. I was born at Children's Memorial right there in like the fucking hippie. My parents were hippies. So I grew up in the city. So I got so much love for San Francisco. So to see, there's not a lot of rappers from Frisco. It's mostly Oakland. So, you got like, Nicotina. You got, there's a handful.
San Quinn,
Quinn.
I mean, a couple of, rapping Forte. You got a couple other people. But right now, it's a little dry in the city as far as music. And, the fucked up thing is like a crab in the bucket kind of thing in the Bay Area where there's not a lot of unity. There's not a lot of organization. And, just people just don't get along, nor do they want to see each other win. And I kind of had to come up on my own without any help from anyone. And I kind of like bullied my way in the game by work ethic and, just putting project after project. I'm on like album number 34, 35 right now.
Yeah, you got a work ethic that's crazy, bro. Like, we've been friends for the last few years, and I just see all the shit you're doing. It's inspiring because, like, if anything, my willpower and motivational, like, I need a little more push, and I feel like some people just got that hustle naturally. Like, I'm definitely a hustler, but like, I'm a lazy motherfucker, and it's inspiring to see cats like you just out there doing so much work. I'm like, damn, I gotta step my shit up.
What's cool is like, bro, like the way I think about it is like, damn, all right, out of all the people in the world that wanted to be a musician or wanted to do clothing or wanted to, be in the weed game, I've been able to be fortunate enough to be globally recognized. And when you could reach somewhere after all the work I put in, from rapping on the 8-track in my garage in Arizona, 110-degree weather in the garage, and, all the stress and struggles of being an artist. And, bro, now that I have this kind of attention, I'm going to ride that motherfucker until the wheels fall off, because I think it's hella cool that there's millions of people in the world and people know who I am everywhere. That shit to me is like a big trip. And I have this weird fascination of trying to live forever through my music and through my accomplishments. So I don't want to die and just be gone.
Right.
Because like, that's kind of scary, bro. You've been in movies, so when you pass, you'll be there forever, right?
Yeah, that Tupac interview ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and that Tupac interview and the things that you've done, it will always be there, right? And so it's been my goal to fuck the money, because we've had money for a long time, and money only buys you certain things, and it helps with the house and the family, whatnot. But the goal for me is longevity. Like, when I die, will people spray paint my face places? Will people go back and look at my shit? Will they play my music 20 years from now? Right now, I don't think so. I think that if I keep working, and that's what motivates me to keep going, I think that I can reach that level one day. But right now, I feel like if I pass away, I hate to be like a negative Nancy. I feel like I'd get 2 years of love and it'd just be a wrap.
Yeah, people's attention span's short, dude. But
Short.
I feel like you're definitely a mural boy. You'd be out there in Frisco somewhere in a mural.
Somewhere.
So what part of the city are you from?
So when I was growing up, like, younger, my father had a restaurant in California in Fillmore. So we lived in a studio apartment right above there, on top of my pop's restaurant. And it was cool. It was like a little mania. It was like me, my dad, my little brother, and one of my dad's chef friends in a studio bedroom apartment. So you know how that goes. There's 3 people sleeping in one room, and then there's someone sleeping in the hallway in front of the bathroom. So a little uncomfortable. My mom, when I was younger, I grew up in Daly City, but mom and pops separated. My mom went to Arizona, and I stayed in SF with my pa. So, in Frisco, I lived in California and Fillmore. Later in my teenager years, I was in the Sunset, in the Avenues, where I learned a lot of game, for sure.
That's where you learned the game. And then how did you start? So obviously, was the weed thing before rap?
It was always the weed thing. I was just addicted to weed. Like, I started smoking when I was young in Arizona. It was the first time I ever smoked. And when I came back to San Francisco, I learned how different the weed in California was from AZ. And that's what sparked the mind for me as a businessman. Like, I was smoking Berner in Arizona.
Berner is dirt weed for you people that don't know.
So I'm smoking dirt weed by the bale. My boys in Arizona's brothers are all like many-ass D-boys. So we go in the garage full of like bales of Mexican weed and pull handfuls out. We'd chew it like big league chew and think we'd get high. We made brownies with it. We rolled joints and receipts. We didn't know how to get papers and shit. But when I came back to the Bay and I seen them Twomp sacks on Haight Street go buy a dub, you know what I mean? Like, and I seen the quality. I'm like, what the fuck? I have to show my friends in Arizona this.
Right.
So the first, trip back home to AZ, I brought a cigarette pack full of dime bags, and everyone was like, "This is like unreal. Like, what the fuck?"
What year is this?
Shit, I was in 6th, 7th grade.
So you're talking early 90s?
I would say like 95, like 96.
I remember, that's crazy you said that, because I remember in Oakland, I went to high school in Alameda, and we would take we had open campus, so we would leave on our lunch break, and me and the homies would all chip in like $3 each and go get a Twomp sack in Favor Street, which is in the hood. And I look back now, I'm like, I can't believe I would drive through there. And it got to the point where the hood knew my car. I had a Chevy Nova, and I was like that dude that would always come every day. And it was... To this day, dog, that weed, I don't know what the fuck it was. That weed, I don't know what the strain was, but I couldn't believe the quality of street weed in Oakland or the Bay Area that you could stick that shit against the window, dog, and it was so fire. I've never seen any weed like it. I don't know what strain that was going around. This was like late 80s, I'm talking. This is like 89.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, in high school. I was like 89, 90, right when I got my car. And I remember going to the hood every fucking day and getting my Twomp sack, and we go to Wendy's and get Biggie Fried. So we get our, for like $5 a day, you could get your weed and your lunch. And that was the grind, and it was the best fucking weed.
I used to get my weed in Frisco, right there on the wall where all the bike messengers would be at chilling. Mm-hmm. That was like, if you were an elite, pot smoker, you go to the wall and you'd find one of the bike messengers that would fuck with you. They had the dank, and then I'd go to Haight Street, and there was a little black gate right by when you get to Haight Ashbury area. There's a black gate there, and on lower Haight, like on Fillmore and Haight, they just had the best weed ever. And when I got to Arizona, people tripped out, and I just started going bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's where I learned the business of weed. And I also learned that having shit that no one else has is the introduction to a lot of conversations. So that's game 101 right there.
Right. Now, the CBD craze that's happening right now, is it snake oil, or is it... Here's what I learned from some of the homies at Weed Maps. I don't know if this is true because I don't know my shit that well, but is it true that for the CBD to really work, does there have to be an active THC component for it to have the anti-inflammatory? Like, if it's just straight CBD, is it really doing what it promises, or is the amount... Like, what... I don't know.
I truly believe you need a little bit of THC to activate everything. I'm not so knowledgeable on it, but I do know that being in the weed business and seeing the craze, there's no way that there could be quality in that much production that people are putting out there. Cookies has a CBD line coming, and we're making sure we do it right. And, we're controlling the farms that grow the product that goes into it. But a lot of people are just buying shit from Kentucky and a bunch of weird places and just making like anything just to make a buck. And I'm not really feeling it. It's a little overboard, like whatever. Like,
people are making a lot of money though. It's everywhere. It's in like tobacco shops. You could get, CBD
but the thing is like, there's going to be people that make money, and there's going to be people that last. And that's the one thing about cookies. Like, there's a bunch of bigger groups that have billions of dollar, $billion funds, and that don't agree with the style of business that Cookie does, because it's a little more independent, renegade, ratchet, underground. But with the style of menus we develop, we're going to be around for the long run.
Right.
People will figure out that there's a difference between like regular ass weed and fire ass weed.
Right.
Like the regular market. And when they do, they're going to be like, damn, Cookie's got it. And we're always going to have it. Like I showed you the Cheetah Piss, that's the new. And like, we're always going to have the new. And so while other guys focus on buying licenses and trying to exit, we're focusing on finding breeders and creating new.
There's a drought that kind of just happened, I heard.
There's a big ass drought.
How the fuck is that possible in this day? Is it because it got legal and it became so corporate and government like run because my homies that grew all pulled the plug. Once it became legal, it was a weird thing. Like, in a weird way, it becoming legal was a good and a bad thing, because motherfuckers are going to get DUIs left and right. All my homies that grew had to pull the plug and do other shit. And it's a weird kind of...
I think it dried up because once it went legal, they started spanking everybody. So they started looking at... PG&E was sending out notices that, hey, if your power's up by this, we're going to come check your spot. Right. And they just spanked everyone and got them out.
Because the government's now making the money off. Obviously for you, because it's such a big operation, it's working for you, whereas before... You were probably just obviously a hot boy doing that shit,
it's good and bad, because like I miss the BM and with the black market, I miss the black market because people were really talented at doing what they do, And I miss the old style of cannabis purchasing. So like as a legal company, I got to buy something from a licensed grow. It has to go to a licensed distributor that needs to go to quarantine, that needs to get onto a truck to come to my store. Like it takes like 2 or 3 months for the weed to get on the shelf. And like when I was buying weed at the hemp center on Geary back in the days, motherfucker would pull up with a pound bag. I'd smell it and be like, good to go. Buy it, put it in a jar, and you're just getting the best, freshest. It's like farm to table type shit.
Right. And that's another thing now, I imagine, like, because it went down dramatically. Like I was saying, that it was 5 G's at elbow for the Girl Scout just a few years ago. And
it's
now
like 1,700, 1,400 right now. It's sad.
But even when, like before this little drought, it was down to like a G, maybe not the Girl Scout, but in general, like an elbow was going for like a G. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, the game's fucked up. It's oversaturated. But again, if you have that new, people will pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just a strategy we're going to keep taking. And, we challenge other people to do the same because breeding is not easy and growing quality cannabis is not easy. So if you got that shit, you can charge still.
And I'm a fan of like I'm doing a little weed break, but my shit is I like outdoor, no chemical, sun grown, backyard boogie almost. Like I'll go to the weed shop and say, I want your what's your worst weed you got that's not the high super chemmed out because that weed became so fucking strong that it was almost too strong that I like that natural boutique weed.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Like even for me, I've been smoking since I've been fucking 14. Like, and I smoke heavy my whole life, but now it's like, I think just as being adults and growing up and understanding what's real in life, like the shit hits you a little harder now. So I don't smoke as hard as I used to. I kind of mellow. I still smoke the best, but I just take a little less. But to your point, my favorite weed's the shit I grow in my backyard. You know what I mean? If you live in California, you're allowed to grow 6 plants. Exercise your right.
Yep.
Just put some water in that bitch and put it in the sun, and I mean that shit comes out so clean. The ashes are like baby powder, dude.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like when you grow your own weed, it's like growing your own like vegetables and you eat it. There's something about your own shit. I don't know if that's like really, if it's just in your head or why it's better.
No, you just know that plant sat in the backyard under natural sunlight with just water.
Yep.
And that bitch harvested and smells good and sticky and crisp. Last year, my batch was so fire, dude. Like, I just gave it away. Like, it was so good. I wanted people to try it and smoke it. I was so proud of my shit last year, bro.
Me too. When I was growing, I just gave it. I basically wasn't even making that much money, but it was more of a project. And I just loved putting people on and being like, yo, smoke this shit that I grew. There was something that felt like, there was like a rewarding feeling about having your own shit, No,
it's a good feel. It's a good look.
What about, so obviously you're in LA a lot. I could see you want to get into the film game. You want to start doing movies and shit. I feel that's the next step for you. I see that.
I've had some pretty big people reach out in the last week, like randomly while I'm here. I don't know what made these 2 companies reach out, but they've reached out and they want to do some work, which is like really cool to me. We talked about doing some shit.
Yep.
Film is probably the biggest passion I have just because it's cool. And I feel like there's a lot of bunk ass motherfucking movies out right now. Everything's the same shit.
It is.
And it's just getting repetitive, and good old storytelling is just not there anymore. And so,
yeah, it's true. And I also feel like TV and streaming shows have eclipsed film. Like film's gotten whack, and then like TV shows have gotten better. Generally speaking, there's more good shit on Netflix or like Amazon.
But even like TV shows, like there's no like Step by Step or Family Matters or like shit we grew up on, like the old school shows. Like you know what I mean, like. All the good shit is gone, dude. Like Breaking Bad,
that was the shit.
That was the shit. Like I just feel like there's a lack in like real, genuine, juicy, edgy content. Like I just watch Investigation Discovery and trip out on that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I could watch that shit all day.
Me and my wife watch that shit all day, but like, fuck, movies suck now, bro.
Yeah, they do, bro. How often do you go to the movies anymore? Like rarely ever, right?
I try. Like there's a couple things that come out, I go see, and I'm usually disappointed. Like. Right. There just needs to be some more edgy content in there. And comedies kind of like fell off a little bit too. There was, I just feel like I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. It's kind of whack.
It's a weird time for, not just in Hollywood, but I feel like even in the music industry, like I feel like the rap music that I grew up on, and I guess it's just because I'm older now, and like there's definitely some hot shit out there, but for the most part, I grew up listening to like, 2 Live Crew, Too Short, Ghetto Boys. The shit that made my mom say, turn that shit off, is when I started rapping, I'm like, I want to make music that your mom's going to say, turn that shit off. That was my goal. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like there's too much of that out there anymore. Like, you know what I mean? That rebel music, that punk rock, like, fuck you shit.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's all fucking sugar candy shit, dude. Like, whatever. I mean, that's why I make music. I don't have to make music, and music doesn't make me, doesn't fuel my career or, pay my bills like that. But I make it because, goddamn, someone needs to make some real shit still, I don't
It's
really
a
worry.
passion. You just like to do it.
Yeah, I love to do it. And I don't worry about like getting the hottest new artists on my shit like that. I actually fuck with the legends like the Twistas and the Devin the Dudes and the Snoop Dogs and the Cam'rons and, the people I grew up wanting to fuck with, the do or die. Like I get excited about those kind of features. You know what I mean?
In a weird way, you get to put on some of these dudes that you grew up on because they need you now.
It's weird. I can't, I try to think of it like that, but I don't go there. But yeah, no, it's real, dude. Like it's crazy. It's crazy that they hit me up asking for advice and or like to jump on their records and or like get excited to do something. Cause I'm like, wow, like that's life goal shit. And I think that ultimately, like as an artist, when people ask, what if you don't make it type shit? It's like, bro, I've worked with people I grew up listening to. So therefore I've done what I wanted to do.
You already did it.
It's the goal. It's like it's done.
Yeah, for me too. Same thing. Like I worked with Too Short. I worked with the Ghetto. I worked with Willie D and Ghetto Boys, and I got to work with 2 Live Crew with Brother Marquise. And if you would have told me when I started fucking around rapping for a joke that I'd work with the dudes that I grew up on, like it could be over tomorrow. And I'm like, I can't believe. And they needed me. What was crazy is they were coming to me, like, hey, Derek, they needed me, and I couldn't believe it. And it was so crazy. You see the heroes that we grew up on out there, and like obviously those 40-plus-year-old rappers ain't selling tickets like they used to because their fans got older. Mm-hmm. So they need that like resurgence. And now it's a trip. And now here's the next thing that's happening is there's this young generation. Like I met Little Dicky at Adam Sandler's party, and he rolls up on me and he's like gave me props. He was like, man, without my dick, there would be no Little Dicky, and without Beastie Boys, there'd be no Dirt Net. Like it kind of passes this
It's evolution. Yeah, it's evolution, bro. Like, yeah, no, definitely. And, the thing as an artist, you got to constantly recreate yourself. So, like, the album I'm doing now, it's like almost like my first album because I've never came to a studio. We're in the studio right now, you know what I mean? And I've never came to a studio and spent 12, 13-hour days making one song. To me, that's like the biggest waste, right?
Yeah.
I used to do like 3 or 4 songs a day just rapping over beats that were made and sent to me. But now, this album... And the reason why I say it's like my first album is everything is made live from scratch.
Right. No
the
samples.
Keyboards, the pianos, the guitar, the fucking flute, everything. We're bringing in live bands every day, and it's fucking game-changing shit. It's cool. It's fun. Like, fuck, dude.
It's therapy, dude. There's nothing better than making your own song and that day bumping it in your car and driving around the block. That's such a quick turnaround. The thing about making a movie or a TV show is that shit'll take a year, and by the time that shit's done and 50 other people got their hands in on it, it's not even what it originally was. The music process is such a cool. It's a 3-minute little movie you got. And it's yours, and you got the creative.
You get to control it.
Yeah.
You're in charge of the destiny of that movie. Yep, that's sick. I fuck with that.
Yeah, and that's what drew me to it. Was like I just had so much downtime, and I was like, I grew up, freestyling, and I started making beats. And for me, it was like, this is such a. It's almost like social media shit. Like I could post a Tweaker Rodrigo video and shoot it in 1 minute and have 100,000 people cracking up, and it's just boom right to the source. Whereas like when you're doing a scary movie or some big movie, it ain't. There's just too many moving parts that
people have their own ideas of how things should look and sound, and take like originals. Do you do a scene that's like amazing and they just fucking take it out
all the time?
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, all the time, and it ain't up to you because you got to realize these people put up millions of dollars, so it's the investors and the producers. It's their say, and that's fair because they're putting up the money, but you got no say in it. And it's like as an actor, it's like stand here, wear this, say it like this. You don't really get as much creative pull as you think.
See, that's why like for PAX, the movie I wrote, like my baby when it comes to film, I'm waiting until I have $20 million to film my own movie. Like, it's kind of stressful because I feel like the message behind the movie PAX it'd kill it more now. Like if it dropped now, it'd probably be a lot more relevant, but I'm not doing that shit until I'm in control because I'm one little fucking, hands-on little stubborn bastard. I probably fuck around and beat somebody up over that shit, bro.
Yeah, you don't want to let that happen because it's your baby and you could afford, or at least if you get the investors, you could afford to do it your way, which is always the best shit. Like whenever you see a movie and it's always like the guy who wrote it and directed it and produced it, it's always comes out the best than when you got too many motherfuckers.
I want my shit to be crispy.
Yeah, extra crispy. No, PAX is about the weed game, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
PAX means...
Yeah,
PAX mean, pounds? What is that?
Yeah, PAX, just pounds. So you get a pack, but no, it's about the rise of designer weed, and it's based on a true story, and it's about drug trafficking, and it's all the way true. And it's dope and it's edgy and it's real, man. I seen that movie Savages when it came out, and I got really depressed because I spent a lot of time and money writing packs. And I laughed when I saw Savages and left like, these motherfuckers ain't never gonna get it. It's like, have you ever seen another Goodfellas?
No.
Nah, bro. So. It's like, like certain movies come out and they own that lane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, ain't no one gonna come out with another Goodfellas, and if they do, it's gonna be someone from that game. You know what I mean?
And that's another thing is you just see all these recycled movies coming out now that are just remakes or reboots. And I'll refuse to go see like the Miami Vice movie because I grew up watching the real Miami Vice. You know what I mean?
I ain't seen that new shit.
Yeah,
even the new Lion King. I'm not even down for that either.
You know what's crazy? When you mentioned Lion King, I never saw Lion King in my life, and everyone gets so pissed off. They're like, "You haven't seen Lion King?" So I purposely will never watch the movie Lion King because how mad people get. They're like, "How you never seen that movie?" So I might go see the new one because I don't got nothing to compare it to.
That's
you know what I mean?
You could do that because I knew the OG one, and so
everybody does. I'm the only person that
I don't even know if I really remember it. I just remember watching it as a kid and it was cool,
weed.
But like, yeah.
That's another good thing about weed is that, dude, I was such been pothead my whole life. Is that I forgot my amazing life, and I'll sit there and watch a movie, and at the very end of the movie, I'll be like, oh man, I've seen this shit.
You know what the fucked up thing is? People ask me like, what year did you graduate? Which I didn't graduate, or what year did this happen, or how did this go down, or how old you when you met your, I'm like, I don't know, bro.
No
like,
idea.
I've been moving so fast for so long.
Yep.
Ask me what happened last week. Otherwise, bro, it's gonna be incorrect. Like, I fucking don't know for shit.
Yeah, that's some real shit. So movies. Anything else that you think you might want to on some LA shit? Like you obviously come here and work with all the big rappers. What's some other shit? Like I'm trying to think what your next endeavor would be. You could even write a book one day, dog.
Oh no, I got two already. I'm writing a book called How to Build a Brand, and I'm writing a book called The Perfect Deal. And I'm going to drop How to Build a Brand soon, and then when we exit Cookies, if that's what we end up doing, or maybe I pass on to my daughter, but if we ever exit Cookies, there's a book called The Perfect Deal because, bro, venture capitalists and big companies can fucking fuck your life. I've had companies offer me $1 billion for, let's just be honest, Coca-Cola wanted to buy Hemp2O, and they told me it was going to be for north of $1 billion, and that shit put me in a deep state of depression when it didn't go down for like 2 years. I was just so lost, bro. And so like, by doing cannabis deals, like I have to weed through so much bullshit, and I've saved my brand 100 times by shaking faulty deals. So I got the books. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is something for kids.
It's funny you said that. I just did a kids album. I gotta play it for you. I'll play you a little snippet in there. I did a kids album because I was like, all right, what's the next thing? I did all the suck my dick, do coke shit I could do, right? And for the record, I don't like coke. So all you fans out there that throw cocaine at me on stage, it's just a joke. My song 1980.
Yeah, I like to rap about coke too. I don't do coke.
You know
anymore.
what I mean?
Anymore.
Well, that was the whole angle. I was like, oh, every rapper's talked about selling drugs. I want to do from the point of view of the customer. That was the joke.
Yeah.
But that happened to be my biggest pop off song, so people think I'm a cokehead, and I got a lot of energy. People are like, oh, you on coke? I'm like, oh, this is just me, natural. But yeah, but fucking yeah. And another thing is like, I never chase. I feel like the money is a byproduct of what you do. If you do what you want, do what you love, and you could get paid for it, that's called a vocation, I think is the word. When you get your job is what you love to do. Man, you get to do music, you get to do the weed game. Like you get like a unicorn, bro. And someone said about you, they're like, Dante, Peter Dante?
Yeah, Dante.
Yeah, he was like, man, that fool Berner, he's like, that dude got the Midas touch, bro. Everything that dude touches turns to gold. And I don't know if that's something that's learned. Is that like some Bay game that you absorbed? I mean, how did you have this? Because if you weren't in that game, you would be like a CEO of some, well, you are actually.
Yeah.
But it's through the drug game that you learn.
I was talking to someone about it yesterday. I just stay hands on, bro. And if you stay hands on, then you're right. When you touch turns to gold because your hands are on it. You know what I mean? Like the music is fire because I'm here directing the production before I write my rap. And then I'm here with my engineer, Drew, watching him mix and master. I'm here for every process of it.
Right.
With the cannabis, when we pheno hunt, they bring me 100 jars. I smoke every one of them. I take my notes. I take every mental note I can of it, and physical, like writing down notes, and I pick the strain I like the most. Then I get behind it. I make the design for it, for the logo, and then I push it personally and put it in people's hands. So, if you're hands on, bro, it's gonna work. And I think that's with anything. Like it's like a chef. You can start a restaurant, you could be the best cook, but if you go open up 30 chain restaurants, you write down on a book on how to make it, that shit ain't gonna taste the same, dude. If you go to that restaurant and you teach them personally how to make it, and you just train them personally, then it will be the same. But yeah, hands-on is the key to everything.
And you got a tight circle. I noticed since I've just known you a few years, you got the same, Stingy's always right there by your side. You keep it loyal to the soil, and you don't got too many, like, you can't, I imagine for someone in your position, if I was on top of the mountain like you, I would be worried that everyone was coming after me for the wrong reasons, because on a very small scale, I get that within Hollywood, where I feel like if someone comes at me, they want something from me. Like, I don't know who's
it's fucked up, bro. It sucks to think like that, but it's the truth, man. I really don't hang out with anyone anymore because everyone has an agenda. They all have a dream. They all have something they want to do, and I embrace that. But I can't fucking be everyone's key to success. Like,
you did it without anyone helping you out. So
nobody helped me, bro. And at the end of the day, I feel like, my friends that have been there since day one, that have been through shit with me, they're still there. But like new friends, it's very not really happening like that. Like even going to nightclubs and strip clubs, like I like to chill with my daughter. I like to chill at the house. I get enjoyment by relaxing and fucking. Maybe it's because I'm an old fuck. I'm about to be 36 this year, but I don't really like the club like that. It's just too much shit can happen.
Yeah, I've been retired from the club scene for a minute. It was definitely fun for a while when I was in my 20s and even in my 30s. I heard this on the radio the other day. At 37 years old is the cutoff point to go to a nightclub. You heard that? That's the age that if you're over 37 in the club, you need to go home.
You need to take your ass home.
You need to go home.
And a lot of people don't know this, but I used to be a bartender when I was 18. I fucked so many bitches and did so many drugs before I was even 21 that like, I'll keep it real. There's more girls. I had more girls being a bartender than I do being a rapper. Like just being the one that pours the bottle and being young, sexy Bern when I was skinny and shit with hair. That shit was big for me. So I already experienced all that. I don't need to do it again.
Yeah, you got it out of the way because some people might not have been able to handle getting some fame and money and attention at a late I've seen that tear people down.
Oh, dude, it tears hella people down. Motherfuckers fall off hella fast.
Real fast. Money. I always say that money doesn't buy happiness, but it could rent it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You can get some toys and have some fun, but really money brings a lot. It's such a cliche thing, but more money, more problems shit. And again, like I'm very slow on that totem pole, but I've had my ups and downs. And when I had money, it just seemed like life was fucking way more stressful. And right now I'm in this spot where I don't got much, but I got enough. I'm in that little sweet spot where it's just like I eat what I want, I travel, I'm chilling, but I don't got the stressor of having like the mortgage, the leaking roof, like all the bullshit.
Yeah, it's a lot, bro. When you have bread, all your friends know you have bread. And then you become responsible for everyone's, someone goes to jail, there's a funeral, they need to start a business, their car breaks, they need, some money to go. It's a lot of pressure and it's fucked, dude. I mean, someone asked me, Mike Tyson's crazy asked me, what makes you happy? And I was like, bro, my Labrador and my daughter.
There you go.
That's it.
That gives you real happiness.
Literally, I come home and those dogs run up to me and they're the homies and my daughter smiles and I just want to figure out a way to stay alive, to see my kid grow older and have kids and graduate from school. And that's all I think about now. Like every time I get in the car, I'm like, will this prevent me from being there for my daughter?
Right.
You want to go to the strip club, Bern? There's going to be some jealous weirdo over there. Yeah. I'm cool. Oh, we're going to go let's go to Colombia and wild out. Nah, I might not make it back. Like, not to be like a weirdo, stay in the house ass motherfucker, but I just really make every decision like based on like, could there be an issue?
You fast forward the tape. That's smart. Some people don't do that shit. Like, man, yeah, I always would say, like, if I ever had, like, Leonardo DiCaprio's level of fame, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. Yeah. I would have been in some yacht in the fucking south of France doing some crazy drugs with some hookers and shit would have gone bad. Like, I luckily never had that level. And by the time, you know what I mean, you get older and that shit becomes way less, like, desirable. All that. It's just too much trouble.
And then you got to think, like, you got to enjoy life, too. When you're that big, like, you can't enjoy it. Like, even, like, for me, bro, I go out sometimes and I don't enjoy it because people want to take pictures. They want to talk business. They want to bother you. I have people like come touch my shoulder while I'm taking a piss, like, Bern, what up, blood? And it's like, bro, like, hold on, man. Like,
I'm taking a piss.
Yeah, I'm taking a piss.
Yeah, people are pushy, bro. It's a weird thing. Like, I don't think people have that social etiquette that, and especially now at this like smartphone, social media generation, motherfuckers will just roll up filming you without even asking first. It's become, everyone's a rat. And back in the day, like, if you had a camera out, you might get your ass beat. Nowadays, you know what I mean? Like, you're self-snitching and you're putting other people in bad situations and tagging people. It's a rat culture that we live in.
It's fucked up. And I think the shit that happened to Nipsey just it happened to my boy Jacka. Rest in peace to the Jacka. And it happened to Nipsey. Like the wrong place at the wrong time. It's a real eye opener. It's scary, man. Like people are fucking haters, bro.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
when
like,
you got something and you're in the public eye, I mean, I can only imagine for you what it must be like all the homies back in the hood in San Francisco, like, put me on, Berner. Because, I get that on such a small scale. Like, people want me to, like, I'm like, dog, like I went out and got it. Like, I can't just hand it to you, bro. I wish I could, but
I've lost my hairline and
man,
end up in the hospital from stress and shit like that, from just trying to take care of everyone. But I have this like office space type attitude right now where it's like, bro, like, hey man, no, like,
yeah.
Like I've hired someone to just kind of run my phone, which doesn't work. I use my phone all day long.
Yeah.
I answer text myself, but my whole goal this year is just to tell people no, man. Like no. Like
yeah.
I used to be scared to tell people no because I'm such a nice guy, but like fuck, bro, like I'm gonna burn my life away trying to help other people, and I have to remember nobody helped me. Nobody helped me.
Yeah.
No one was there to be like, Bern, let me help you. Like like maybe a little boost here and there, but like nah, bro, I'm on my own shit.
How did the name Berner come about? Is it obviously burning wheat? Like how did that name? Was that before this whole character
from graffiti.
rap? What's that?
Graffiti.
Oh yeah. Oh, you were a graffiti writer?
Yeah, I used to tag.
No shit.
Yeah.
Like tagging or like bomb, like just tag?
I never did like pieces. I used to just tag with scribers.
In San Francisco, so there's still burners up everywhere?
Nah, not like that anymore.
San Francisco changed, bro. Our city's different, and it's like that everywhere. Same with LA, Venice, wherever. But San Francisco, when I grew up there, bro, that shit was the wild fucking. I mean, it's still crazy. Don't get me wrong, but San Francisco
it used to be wild, dude.
I mean, there's obviously the homeless problem. There's some crazy shit, the Tenderloin, all that. But like, I remember there's neighborhoods like 3rd Street and like Potrero Hill where like you would get fucking killed, no problem. Like my mom wouldn't let me go to those neighborhoods. Now you go there, and I guess I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, the gentrification, but San Francisco has become this teched out place that
it's lost its personality. I feel like,
man, right?
Like you used to get on the muni bus and fools would be slapping music, smoking blunts, and tagging on and that's not, maybe it's not the best, but that's what I
miss that.
I miss it too.
I remember this. There's a gang called SOS, Sons of Samoa. They're like the gnarly fucking Samoan gangs.
Yeah.
And I remember I was on the bus going to school in like grade school. And the motherfuckers, this little kid was with them, and he just came and took my hat off, put it on his head, just stared at me like, what? And he was with his Samoan homies. And in a weird way, I missed that.
I feel you though.
Like you couldn't wear your nice shoes. You're gonna get jacked for your shoes.
Yeah, nah. The city changed, and maybe it's for the best, but
that's
it's kind of sad.
I'm torn. Is it better or worse? I don't know why I missed. The same with New York City, bro. I lived in New York for 5 years, and you had your head on a swivel in the 90s. Now you go there, and it's like a Forever 21 store everywhere, and it's just lost that edge. And I don't know why I missed that.
It is kind of whack though, because like where my dad's restaurant used to be a coffee shop, a little movie rental place, and pizza place, and now it's all just like high end clothing boutique on some square shit.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck happened? What
rappers were your inspiration? Like as a kid, what were you bumping that kind of formed your style? Like you definitely got the West Coast style. Like what rappers were your shit when you were a kid?
Man, DJ Quick, Bone, Pac, Mac Dre, San Quinn, Andre Nicotina,
He's
Too
a real
Short,
one.
Too Short, fucking just Snoop. Like I liked all the West Coast type vibe.
Nicotina's a serious cat. He's a real Frisco serious cat. I've done a few shows with him, and I try to crack him and make him laugh and smile. That motherfucker's stone cold.
He's cold as ice.
He's cold as ice.
Yeah, he's cold.
He's a trip because he found this lane. I don't even know. And I remember asking his homie, because his homie, I forget his name, he's like the most nice, animated, cool dude. He's always talking, and it's just like his hype man. And I was like, how did you guys get this suburban white girl lane of college kids? Because Andre Nicotina, like any white girl you meet between 25 and 35 knows Nicotina. Like
San Luis Obispo.
How the fuck did he get that? That's such a weird lane to get as a rapper who's hood as fuck.
I think rapping about coke
That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Hey, yo, that song that's still the best.
White girls like coke.
Yeah, I guess it was. And that's probably why Dirt Nasty popped off too. Oh, he's talking about coke. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, so definitely West Coast influence. I grew up with a lot of East Coast influence too. Like I listened to a lot of Boogie Down Productions, and I listened to a lot of like East Coast, but really Too Short was like my shit. And I just basically, without sounding like a biter, I just want to sound like the white Too Short. So when I got to work with him, he approved of the style. And I remember when I met him, I said, yo, I handed him, I was this dude. I seen him at the club in LA. I seen Too Short, and I had my first album out. And I had done a remake of one of his songs. And I handed it to him, and I was like, look, man, I did an homage to you, man. You're like my father. And he looked at me, he's like, your father, maybe your big brother. I ain't that old. I was like, damn, I already pissed him off. I fucked up. And then
Short's kind of cold too, though. He's kind of stone.
Yeah, he's stone cold, but he's not like an asshole. He's just like, he's just the most mellow dude ever. And then I got to be cool with him and do shows with him. And he was so cool. I remember once we did a show in LA and I was opening up for him. And tell me one rapper that would ever do this. This motherfucker said, he goes, you know what, Dirt? I'm going to open up for you tonight. And I was like, well, you sold 30 million records. You're too short. What are you talking about? You're going to open up for me. He's like, this is Hollywood, bro. This is your shit. I'll open for you. I couldn't believe that class, that level of no ego doesn't exist in the rap community too much. Every rapper's like, nah, yeah. like the headline thing's what you want, right? I couldn't believe this fool did that. That's how cool Short is.
That's how I do it too. Like if I show up to a show, like, sometimes you don't want to be there hella late, or sometimes you understand that
might have been what it was. He probably wanted to go home.
He probably wanted to go home, or you understand that it's not your scene, and like, it might be a little awkward getting on stage after you because you get it cracking in that scene. So it could have been a combination of either he wanted to bounce, or he just realized like, yo, he's gonna get on there and have it like super cracking with this crowd. I'm gonna get on there. It's gonna be a little awkward, so maybe I should open it up. I do that too, though.
Yeah, that's smart. And I remember another thing he taught me was real smart, because we were like, after the show, someone wanted to smoke a joint and hang out. And he's like, listen to me right now. Don't hang out with your fans after the show and smoke a joint. All that's going to turn into is them want your phone. That's going to turn into like, hey, smoke a joint. Turns into, let me get your phone number. Turns into, let me do a song with you. Turns into, let's do a video. And will you tweet it for me? And all it's almost like it sucks, because nowadays just doing a song with somebody turns into, oh man, we got to do the video. You got to put it on because you got millions of followers. Yeah. They want you to push their shit. Mm-hmm. And it's like this whole thing where it's no longer just about making a fire track. There's so much other levels to it, man. It turns into like a headache almost, Yeah.
I used to hang out with the fans too after the shows, but I realized that extra hanging around shit only causes drama. Like, go in there, do your show, and bounce straight up.
Yeah, more bad things I think can happen than good. And especially nowadays too. Not that you're the dude chasing the fans and shit, but with the girls and this Me Too shit, like you can't be fan fucking. Those days are
bro.
over.
Like I literally had to tell all my boys when we go on tour, there's no more fucking bitches. Like it's over, because at the end of the day, you get one girl obsessed with you and you can't call her because you got a wife at the house, or you do something wrong.
It's all bad.
And all of a sudden, hey, Bern raped me, and I'm just like a fat guy already, so I'm scared. Like, I'd look hella shady if someone said that. So I'm giving no one any room to do any of that. You did not suck me, fuck me, or touch me. You didn't come on my bus. There's no proof.
Yep.
Bye. That's
it. You're smart, dude. A lot of people get caught up in that one. So when you're working on the album here right now, is Stingy? So Stingy gonna be on the album? Is he doing any shit? What does he just ride with you? Like, is
Nah, Stingy. Stingy's he's a multiple task kind of guy. He's a ride or die homie. He's down to fight. He's down to he drives. He's the one I can trust. That's why I keep him around me. He's a little annoying sometimes, but at the end of the day, there's no harm from him that's gonna come except
he's a real one,
pissing me off. But this album's all like live music, so I'm bringing in bands and shit like that. He has some production on the last album, but he's just here for the ride right now.
And any rappers guest tracks on this one? What's the album called?
It's called La Plaza.
So this is so it's gonna be like Latin vibe.
Yeah. So
it's a racist album?
Nah, it ain't racist.
No white people out of this?
Nah, there might be a white. I mean, he might sneak you on there.
What are you made out of? You Italian? What are you again?
I'm Mexican and Italian with a little bit Irish, little baby bit Irish.
You're a spicy one.
Yeah, I got the mob, the cartel. And I got a little bit of fighting and drinking in me. So.
Oh, man. Dude, well, hey, look, I know you got to get back to work. I appreciate you giving me some of your time, homie. And everyone out there listening, you already know, at Berner on Instagram.
Berner 415, BERNER 415. And look, if you listen to the podcast, you like it, follow my boy shit. And also go to his Instagram when he's back on Instagram and tell him we need to finish up our little short movie we're going to work on. Because we got some shit we're going to do that's, game changer for y'all.
That's going to happen. My man. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Yes, sir.
Yes. There it is, the legend, the man, Berner, baby. Berner, baby. What a dope name, Berner, right? I mean, it's just like, there's an old Too Short line in this rap song. Like, with 6x9 smoking, Berner. I got to sample that for him. I got to get the acapella of that Too Short song and make Berner a beat. So, yeah, Berner and we've done music together. We've done battle rap together. He's just he's the coolest. As you just heard, he's the man. Love that dude. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I'm really running. I came out here to Southeast Asia for 6 weeks. I came out here for a month, which is already long. And I pushed it back 2 more weeks, so I'm really threading the needle down to the last pod, because I recorded a bunch of podcasts before I left. So I'm down to like 1 more, and then I got to fly home and knock a few out because I'm basically out of podcasts. So we're getting down to the bottom of the barrel, baby. All right, love you guys.